Hi, this is Trey Passer, and welcome to my review, with minor spoilers, of Hercules, starring Dwayne Johnson. Of course, I think John Hurt is in this, and also Ian McShane. Okay, Hercules, saw it today. There it is. I didn't see the 3D version, just saw the regular 2D version. Anyway, I want to see this. Big fan of The Rock. Of course, he plays Hercules in this story, and basically, this story kind of takes place after Hercules, his character, has endured the 12 labors, from the famous story of Hercules doing the 12 labors. Uh, and he's basically a demigod, because he was born of Zeus is his father, and his mother was mortal. Okay, and basically, in this movie, he's basically a bounty hunter. Well, not a bounty hunter, he's a mercenary. That's a better word, mercenary. He gets tired, he's with his cousin and his little merry band of thieves and warriors, and they basically go around, whoever pays them the most, they fight for them, and that's what he does. And of course, you can tell he's also haunted by the death of his wife and kids. Okay, and so he goes about helping, and they even set it up in the beginning of the movie where you see his cousin is basically being held hostage. And he's telling the tales of Hercules and stuff, and how he's going to, this legendary, he slew this person, did this labor and this labor to, he's explaining this to this pirate, and he's saying, and you're going to be next, of course. And then, of course, you see The Rock shows up making an appearance, and of course, and then him and his crew take care of business. And this movie, I think they were going for a more, I guess, realistic version of Hercules. Like most of his reputation is mostly by word of mouth. Even though he does kick ass in the movie, but I think they kind of set it up in the world that it's kind of, if he maybe he is or maybe he isn't really, the son of a god. They kind of, I guess, kind of play fast and loose with that part of it. Just and it's mostly his reputation is mostly, by word of mouth, by, of course, his cousin speaking of the legends and stuff and his labors, and everybody knows it, and it gets passed on place to place. Of course, and like I said, they're mercenaries, and they fight for money and for gold. And they get called one day by the king of Thrice, I think that's the place, played by John Hurt. He gets called him, and he said he needs his help because there's this vicious warlord that's going to take over the land, and he needs his help to battle this tyrant who's, pillaging all over the countryside, and Thrice is going to be next. So he needs Hercules there to train his men and to get them ready for combat. Okay, and so they promise him gold, of course, so they do it. And Hercules has a little crew. Ian McShane, who was to me was one of the most personality in this movie. It was absolutely hilarious. He was amphibious. He was sort of like a psychic. He could see things. He was a great warrior, of course, and he could see. He could see into the future. And then you had Rufus Sewell. He plays Autolycus, I think. Autolycus. He's, Hercules is like best friend. Who they said, I think they even explained that they grew up as orphans on the streets, so they're they're really close and tight and best friends. And then you have Askel Haney. He plays Titus, who's basically doesn't speak, but he's a great warrior with two swords and doesn't speak, but he's a fierce warrior and a great great for combat. And then you have I think Rebecca Ferguson, she plays Eugenia. She's an Amazon warrior who, of course, Hercules helped, and of course she's an archer and a deadly with the bow and stuff. And then, of course, you have his cousin Eulolus, who tells the story and stuff, and kind of really doesn't really fight as much. He's there to spread the tales of the crew. Anyway, they train help Lord I think Codus, who's the king of Thrice. They help him, played by John Hurt, to they train their men, and even though they kind of go into battle before they're really ready the first time, but they manage to survive it. And then they train them even better to get to be better, and they even win their next battle. And of course, there's a twist in the story which I don't want to spoil, of course. But the main thrust of this movie is, like I said, The Rock as Hercules, Dwayne Johnson, okay, as Hercules, and he's really, really good. I like his personality in the movie. He's his character. He has his presence, and he's kind of he's humble, and he, like I say, you can tell he's haunted, and you see he has nightmares about the murder of his wife and kid. So you tell he's sort of haunted by that, and and I think this movie they really, I think they try to stress not so much the mystical aspects of it, just to basically show you Hercules as a flesh and blood kind of guy who has these fierce companions that are fiercely loyal to him. And like I said, there's a twist in the story that comes along, and I like the movie because I like the chemistry between all the characters, especially Rock and or Hercules and his crew. They were really tight, and you could tell they would die for each other. And of course, they helped train this army, and there's great battle sequences with them fighting and protecting, and of course, you do get an answer about because you see Rock, the character of Hercules, being haunted by the Death's wife, and you do kind of get a resolution to that, which I don't want to spoil. Okay, and like I said, there's twists and turns in this story, which make this movie highly enjoyable to me. And like I said, I don't want to spoil it. I think, like I said, The Rock in this movie, I didn't see the other Hercules movie that came out in January, so I can't compare that to this. But this movie I thought was very enjoyable, and I would love to see a sequel to this. Okay, I thought this was really, really well done. And like I said, The Rock has a nice presence and charisma as Hercules. I thought he was really good, and I like his crew, especially Ian McShane. I thought he was absolutely hilarious and funny, and Rufus Sewell, and also Rebecca Ferguson. His whole little crew there they were totally cool, and some nice badass scenes. And of course, the hero has to overcome something, which I don't want to spoil. And like I said, nice twists and turns in this, and I really, really enjoyed this movie, Hercules. Nice summer movie, and like I said, I would love to see a sequel to this movie. Hopefully, they'll make a sequel, because I really, really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was excellently directed, okay, and very well done. I thought The Rock, like I said, he's improving as an actor. I thought he had great screen presence, charisma. Like I said, look at he's acting. He's acting with Ian McShane, John Hurt. No slouches in the acting department. I thought he more and held his own against those two really strong actors. So I enjoyed it. So I would give Hercules an 8 out of 10. That's how much I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this movie a lot. Okay, and I would love to see them make a sequel to it. I thought it was really good, and maybe the only negative to me is that they didn't have somebody, I think, in the movie that could fight Hercules, I guess, one-on-one. That's my only, I think, negative to that. I would love to have seen him have somebody in the movie that he could fight, one-on-one, that that you could be doubting whether he could overcome him or something, or that would be my only gripe. And they can, like I said, they can address that, I guess, in a sequel if they make a sequel to this. But to me, I thoroughly enjoyed this Hercules. Again, 8 out of 10 for me. Anyway, let me know what you think. If you've seen Hercules, what do you think of it? Feel free to leave comments down below. And if you like this review, please hit the subscribe button down below. And this, excuse me, my voice went. And this is Trey Baxter saying so long and take care.